Joining us for a little bit is Caddo Commissioner Steven Jackson. It's been a while. Hey, Mr. Steven, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well. Yes, it's been a while. Thanks for reaching out to me.
Let's start with yesterday morning in this very studio. We had the president, the chairman. There we go. The chairman of the Sci-Port Board of Directors, Mr. Rich Lamb. And you listened to that, and there were one or two things with which you disagreed. Where would you like to begin?
Well, I had an opportunity to listen to the clip that he did, and Rich was not at the meeting. I want to address that. He was not at the meeting, so it's kind of hard for me to sit back and listen to someone give an account of a meeting who wasn't in attendance. He wasn't there physically, nor was he there remotely. And so to try to give an assessment of what was a serious ask to come back and say, the folks who were there, they were serious, that conversation. No, it was a very serious conversation.
Did they ask for a $2 million loan from the parish?
They asked us to consider, would the parish be willing to consider $2 million loans to restructure the Sci-Port debt.
And you're talking about Sci-Port board members asked you that.
I assume that this Linda Bernanke is a Sci-Port board member. I'm told my notes show that Tim Magnet is not. He was there representing the quote-unquote business community. There was a staff member who was there. I think he's over program. His name is Alan Brown from my notes. And then there was a guy from CSRA that was in that meeting.
Couldn't this be just a simple misunderstanding? And even if it's not, why does it matter to you?
Well, I take issue with public comments because I did ask Mr. Lamb a line of questions. And like I said, I'm not sure that there can be a misunderstanding from someone who wasn't there. To just write it off as a simple, Steven or Commissioner Jackson is blowing this out of proportion. No, there wasn't an ask for $2 million, whether it was a hard ask or not. There was consideration for public dollars to be used for a private entity. Sci-Port is a wholly private entity. They operate out of a public space, which is the city of Shreveport space, not the parish of Caddo. So we even went into that. The other issue that I took with these comments is that all of a sudden the mission of the meeting or the purpose of the meeting has changed to, we were just here to talk about Sci-Port's grant. That came up at the very end of the conversation, was like, by the way, your grant was not in compliance, or there may be some issues with your grant application.
Now, you and Mr. Lamb have exchanged emails since, which you shared with us. You were concerned about hearing his comments, and the purpose and intent of the meeting came up as well. Have y'all had a meeting of the minds yet? I mean, have the two of you talked since these emails were exchanged?
Well, I would just say that, I appreciate Rich Lamb, and I appreciate all of the Sci-Port board members for giving their time and effort and energy to work with Sci-Port on whatever issues they're having. So, I don't see that there being any conflict. I just, when I see it one time, okay, but when I see it 2 or 3 times being repeated in the media, that, there was no ask for $2 million, or that wasn't a serious ask for $2 million. We just, was just brainstorming, or we weren't even there to talk about $2 million. We were there to talk about the Sci-Port grant. No, this meeting was about $2 million. So, my goal is to set the record straight, because I'm a public official, and when folks come up to me saying, "Hey, why are you trying to spend $2 million on Sci-Port when y'all need to be spending funds and revenue and resources over here?" So I just want to be, for me, I like the record to be clear. I have nothing against Mr. Lamb or any of the Sci-Port board members.
Your email ends with this, and I'm quoting, "The public facts, however, need to be truthful and consistent."
Absolutely.
You seem to say that somebody's lying to somebody here.
Well, I from what it sounds like, is there's a message to the public that everything is going well, everything is fine, but when you get to a meeting, it's we need help. And so there's nothing wrong with asking for help. I think this is how we got to where we are now with there was a perception, and we all know it, there was a perception that everything was going well, even with the deal with Planet Aqua. There was a perception that everything was going well. And then all of a sudden, things went to the left or to the right, not on the straight and forward path. So I don't think all of the details have to be divulged. I just think that the conversation needs to be consistent. The conversation needs to be honest. And if there are issues, put them out there. Don't come to the parish or to the city saying one thing and then going back out to the public saying, oh, no, everything is just fine. We see too many examples as a public official.
Mr. Steven, do you have
many examples of that?
Pardon me. Do you as a Caddo Commissioner, or do other commissioners, based on meetings with Sci-Port folks, or with just talking with other public officials or people who might have been involved, do you have a sense? Do you, Steven Jackson, have a sense of what went wrong at Sci-Port, or is it something that the Caddo Commission doesn't really want to get into?
Well, I don't think it's something, and I'll answer that two ways. I don't think it's something that the Caddo Parish Commission is trying to get intimately involved with. We are very concerned about the $60,000 that we have put into Sci-Port over the last 20 years, which comes up to somewhere in the ballpark of $1.5 million to almost $2 million over 20 years. So we're concerned about that aspect of it. But we also want to make sure that whatever the issues are with Sci-Port, that they get resolved by the Sci-Port board or the Sci-Port staff and management. Our job is not to go and fix the problems that someone else created.
When it comes time to write that next $60,000 check, or would you be in favor of saying, let's post-date this a little bit?
What I would like to see is I would like to see Sci-Port be on a sustainable track. What we would like to see all of our NGOs, not just Sci-Port, is to be able to say, here's a set of funding for a set period of time. We'd like to, because what we are now looking at is cycling people out of our funding cycle because those dollars are starting to diminish. And so, we've given Sci-Port $60,000 for the last 20 years now. At some point, there should be some self-sustainability, some self-sufficiency there, and we are not seeing that. So I would have some unreadiness if we are still at the level, or if things still seem the same.
The Sci-Port debt, he would not share specifics about us. Mr. Lamb, I refer to you as a commissioner, because you're a public official. Are you privy to that information? How deep in debt is Sci-Port, and if they are so deep in debt, why throw more money at it?
Well, and that was one of the questions. If you go back to the meet, that was one of the questions that I was trying to drill down to. Exactly what are your debts? And I think you saw a couple of other commissioners try to drill down what exactly is Sci-Port's debt. No one really knows. And so, again, we're being asked to hypothetically, possibly, soft ask, as they put it, to consider something that we don't have facts about. And so when you go to the bank and ask for a loan, the bank wants to know everything.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to know hypotheticals. They don't, we'll tell you this but not tell you that. They want to know it all. And so I just want the Sci-Port board to know that I'm rooting for their success. I'm praying for their success. I'm not out here advocating for failure. But I would like to know everything that is out there. If you're coming to ask the public to put their resources into it, we require that of everyone.